Vehicles, they are just as important, maybe even more important than your survivors. And while they are better in State of Decay 2 as opposed to State of Decay 1, I think they can go a lot farther. And that's going to be the subject of today's Fox Talks podcast for State of Decay 2, Episode 3. I'm your host, Git Gud Fox. You can catch me here, obviously, on YouTube, as well as if you want more State of Decay gameplay on Twitch. But with thousands of hours in State of Decay 2, I've been playing since the beginning on the highest difficulty with multiple challenge playthroughs. I noticed things that could be better. And this is not a criticism of State of Decay. This is just talking about how we could make it even more fun. Let's get started. So, vehicles are pretty important. Some of you may not have a complete appreciation for vehicles because you're only looking at them as a thing that transports your cargo around or a thing that transports people around to different objectives. But let me tell you, especially as the difficulty goes up, the appropriate vehicle can win the game for you, such as the Impaler, which is capable of one-shot killing even blood ferals as long as they touch the back of the vehicle. Just kills them in one hit. That can make the game drastically easier. In addition to that, it's pretty hard to die when you're inside of a vehicle. These zombies, they've got to get you out of the vehicle somehow, and they've really only got three ways. They can destroy the engine, which will eventually cause the vehicle to explode, but you know what? You can actually survive being inside of an exploding car, so if the zombies cause your car to get set on fire and it's going to explode, sometimes it is a smarter idea to just let the car explode while you drive somewhere safe, because yes, it'll blow up and you'll take some damage, but you probably won't die unless your health is really, really low, and then now that you're someplace safer, you can recover, repair the car, and be on your way. Another way they can get you out of the car is if they rip off the door, but there are ways that you can protect against this. Even if the door is gone and they are reaching in to grab you, you still have some time to whip the car around and fling them off before they get you out. And even if they do get you out, something people don't know is that the car's engine actually stays on, so you can get right back into the car and you don't have to like twist the ignition. There's that startup time doesn't exist. You can just drive off immediately. And lastly, another way they can get you out of the car is if you get fumigated by a bloater, but just like with an exploding car, you might be surprised that you can just stay inside of the car and suck up that bloater gas, and you might be able to survive it, especially if you've got some healing items. Now, if you're on a higher difficulty like Lethal Zone, you'll also need a plague cure, but the bloater cloud itself should not kill you unless your health is low and you don't have healing items, but once again, if you get fumigated, it could definitely be a better idea to just continue driving on to someplace safe, take the damage, and then get out where it is free of zombies or mostly free of zombies, and then cure yourself instead of just immediately bailing out, on top of the three ferals that are ready to pounce on you and eat your face. The point is that vehicles are insanely good. People have their favorite vehicles. There are rare vehicles like the survey car capable of scanning things, so vehicles are a really big deal in the game. Now, compared to State of Decay 1, we now have the ability to upgrade them. In State of Decay 1, you basically just found a vehicle and you could maintain it, you could repair it, but you couldn't really do anything with it besides find them. In State of Decay 2, we have the ability to now upgrade them into what you call apocalypse vehicles through the usage of an upgrade kit. There's a light, medium, and heavy, and most of the time you'll get them from building them yourself in the auto shop. And I think, this is good. It's not bad, but I think we could do a lot better. And I think what we need to do is, because people love vehicles so much and they're so important, we should be treating these vehicles almost more like facilities or almost more like survivors. Like they need more customization. Like we're able to swap our characters' outfits. Why can't we choose the paint job on a vehicle? Why can't we repaint them? If you've got an auto shop, why can't you repaint them? When you upgrade them into an apocalypse vehicle, they can have different color schemes as well. Why can't we choose that? Why can't we have little paint decals that we can put onto the hood or onto the car doors or onto the body somewhere. Like maybe you have a network decal to show your fandom for the network, or maybe you're into the Red Talon and you could put on a Red Talon decal. It would be so neat if we were able to just have these very simple customizations, especially because some of them kind of already exist. Like I said, there are multiple paint jobs for the same vehicles. Wouldn't it be neat if you could just drive onto a parking space and then you could just change the paint job or add a decal if you have an auto shop? Now, those are really basic ideas. Let's move in to my main idea. This is what I think they need to do. We need to have a new upgrade system for vehicles. And it's all going to revolve around this idea that I'm just going to call car chopping, which refers, like illegal car chop shops. This is how it's going to work. So you got to have an auto shop. That makes sense. It's going to increase the value of the auto shop. That's important because right now, although the auto shop is not a bad facility, it's not really a facility that you keep around at your base. You kind of build it, get what you need from it, and then you deconstruct it and replace it for something else. And then let's say you need more repair kits in the future, then you'll just build it again, build maybe 100 repair kits, and then you will tear it back down. But what if it had a more long-term value that you would want active in the base at all times? So here's how it works. You got your auto shop, right? Now what you're going to do is go out into the world and find the vehicles that you don't want, right? Normally you would just leave them there, but let's give you a reason to collect vehicles in general. So you go out, you find this junky vehicle, maybe it's totally broken down, so you might need to repair it, you might need to give it fuel, you bring it back to your base, and you gotta park it in one of the designated parking spots, because currently the way it works in the game is the game can recognize what vehicle you've got there, and let's try to suggest ideas that are within reason of the game. At least that's my style, but you drive it onto a parking space, and now you're gonna have the ability to put that vehicle in the auto shop. And here's something I think is really important. I want that vehicle, that exact vehicle, to be in the auto shop. It's going to disappear from the parking spot, and you are going to see it. No matter what vehicle it is, it's going to show up in that auto shop so that you get that, visual feedback that it is literally in there. And now what you're going to be able to do is spend your labor with electricity and time, and they're going to chop that car. They are going to dismantle that car because I want to get rid of the original upgrade system for light upgrades, medium and heavy upgrades, and I want to go to this idea that we are going to dismantle the cars we don't need and harvest them for resources. What kind of resources are we going to get, though? Well, the first thing you're going to get are parts, because, parts are useful. You need them to repair your weapons. You need them to build weapons. You need them to upgrade your facilities. So that makes sense. You should also be able to get scraps of circuitry, another source of them, because scraps of circuitry are kind of a pain to get them, and it makes sense that you would get some from inside of a vehicle. And once again, you need these scraps of circuitry to build certain facility upgrades. You need them for C4, and you're going to need them for another thing we're going to be talking about, because I want to introduce a new chain of items. Luxury components that you can just sell for money, and car mods, as well as the ability to build car mods. So first, let's talk about luxury items. So when you dismantle the vehicle, you should be able to get just these little trinkets that you can sell to other enclaves for money. So that means you get parts and scraps, and now you also get stuff to sell to make money. So you have many reasons to basically become like a apocalyptic junker. You're running your own chop shop, and you're selling the stuff you don't need to other enclaves, but you'll also get stuff you do need in the form of these brand new car mods. Once again, some people think that these are like real changes. We're just talking about a hypothetical idea, folks. Like, don't think that this is actually happening in the game. But as I said, I want vehicles to behave a little more like facilities. And so instead of upgrading them with the light, medium, and heavy repair kits, what we're going to do is drive the car we want to upgrade onto a parking space, and now we'll have the option to upgrade it similar to an outpost. When you upgrade a vehicle, maybe it gets like a minor stat boost across the board, nothing too major, but what it will get is a mod slot. Multiple mod slots even. Every time you upgrade the car, and maybe you can upgrade it, let's say to, level 4, or it will then get 4 mod slots, and you'll be able to plug in these mods into the vehicle to give it the attributes of your choosing. Some of these mods are going to come from car chopping, but the thing is, if you want a certain mod, like let's say spikes, you're not going to be able to get spikes from just any old car. So although they will be random, they will be somewhat random. To get the other mods that you don't have, you might be able to loot them out in the world. You might be able to buy them from other enclaves, and the workshop will now have the ability to craft car mods if you are able to meet the requirements of the resources to produce them, so that you can fully customize your car with any blend of mods that you can find, that you can beg for, or you can produce. Let me show you some. These are some ideas I've got for what kind of mods you would be able to put on. Obvious one, spikes. I know that some people get frustrated that spikes are super good, but they're stuck on vehicles like the Zed Buster and the Impaler. Well, what if you could put spikes on any vehicle you want, as long as you can obtain it? Now, spikes are super strong, so they should be harder to find than others, but then you would be able to put spikes on any vehicle of your choosing. How about a mod that increases the fuel capacity of the vehicle, so that once again, you can load up a vehicle with a ton of fuel instead of being boxed into using something like the Viking or the Trail Beast, which are the designated high-capacity fuel vehicles? How about a mod that improves fuel efficiency so that you can drive farther on the same amount of fuel? How about a mod that gives you more trunk space, and maybe you can actually add extra duplicates of the same one. So you could put in 2 trunk space mods to get as much trunk space as possible. How about a mod for a stronger engine so that the vehicle can travel faster than it originally was capable of? How about reinforced armor? And like I said, you can only have like a combination of 4 of these, so you could put on more armor. How about luxury furniture, where when you have this vehicle, it gives everyone in the community a morale bonus because you've got this like nice, comfortable furniture in it? How about better wheels for more traction so that you're capable of going up like steep inclines more effectively than other versions of the vehicle? How about a nitro, allow you to sprint essentially in a vehicle for a limited amount of time? And okay, normally I try to go with sensible ideas, but how about this one? You gotta let me have this one. So for certain vehicles, let's just say a truck, a mod that is a vehicle turret in exchange for losing all of the passenger capacity. And what you do, like I said, let's treat the vehicle kind of like a survivor, and it gets a unique slot when it has a weapon turret on, and the slot is just for a rucksack of ammo that feeds the turret, and eventually it'll run out of ammo. And let's say the basic mod would be a machine gun turret. The intermediate mods could be like a grenade launcher or an Echo bloater gas grenade launcher. And then perhaps the rare mod would be like a vehicle flamethrower, which does exist, by the way. Like there are tanks with vehicle flamethrowers. We have patrol boats with vehicle flamethrowers. So they do exist. And you'd think that if there was this ongoing zombie apocalypse and the military was actively fighting them, they would bring these kinds of weapons forward to destroy the zombies. A little out there, but how awesome would that be? I think people would love that idea. I think people would love Undead Labs for putting such an awesome idea into the game. But in addition to that, what if the facilities were cooler too? Like, what if our facilities could have more mod slots? Because if our auto shop, let's say it could have 4 mod slots, in addition to installing power tools, what if you could find stuff like high-grade oil? Or maybe you could find oil additives, like one brand I know off the top of my head is like Lucas, a very thick type of oil additive that's designed to kind of make sure that the oil is all over the engine, because it makes it a little bit stickier, so there's no part of the engine that doesn't have oil on it. Or maybe another mod could be like a fuel treatment, where it stabilizes the fuel, prevents the fuel from going stale, or injector cleaners. Like there's little chemicals you can put into your fuel tank that clean out the accumulation of carbon deposits in the injectors, which are supposed to make the car run better. What if you could install these in your auto shop and it would buff up the cars that you're using? I think that would be super, super awesome, and it would give you more stuff to loot and more stuff to be excited for, and then you could have a greater amount of investment in your vehicles, because at the end of the day, isn't that the real big deal? Like I said, vehicles are super important. They are your first line of defense against the zombies. It's not that axe or that pistol. It's your vehicles. It's your ability to determine whether you go to battle with the zombies or not. Like, once you get out of the vehicle, the danger increases significantly. Your vehicle, it really is that trusty steed that you ride in on. They are so important in the game. And while State of Decay 2, it did a good job of making them better, it could be so much more. What State of Decay needs is more depth. And some of the stuff they have, they could already do. Like, there could be a system where you could change the paint job on your cars, because we know that cars have different paint jobs. What if you could add on paint decals? Like, you could add in a network decal or a red Talon decal. What about all those cool designs on the shirts of the characters? Some people love them. What if you could put that on the hood of your car? And finally, what if we made the auto shop just absolutely awesome, bringing cars in, taking them apart, getting resources to use and to sell, as well as this new awesome mod system, allowing you to create your own modular vehicles, making you want to bring all of those vehicles back to the base, making you want to go make friends with other enclaves, check to see if they've got any cool mods that you don't have, build your own mods to plug into your vehicle to make kind of like the ultimate vehicle of your dreams that has all of the special attributes that you want, with the right paint job, with the right decals, so that you can just like ride around the zombie apocalypse your way. I think that is the kind of system that State of Decay 2 needs, and I don't think it's an unreasonable thing either. It's working with systems that kind of already exist within the game, and I don't think it's an unreasonable thing. And overall, I think people would absolutely love it. They would be singing the praises of Undead Labs if they had a system like this. But let me turn it over to you. What do you think about a system like this? What kind of mods do you wish you could take from one vehicle and slap on another? Is there a vehicle that you just wish that, I wish it had better fuel economy? I wish this vehicle had spikes. I wish this vehicle had better trunk space. Do you wish you could put on a vehicle turret on the back of your truck? Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. And of course, subscribe for more State of Decay content. Remember, if you want even more State of Decay gameplay, catch me on Twitch. I play 4 days a week, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That is GMT -5, at least until the next daylight savings. And you can interact live. I will answer all of your questions there. Anyways, till next time, let me know what you think down in the comments section. And of course, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.